It was trash day in our neighborhood. I was on my way home, and as always, noticed those big brown trash bins in front of everyone's house. That day, one neighbor even put out a couple of big cardboard boxes, and I remember wondering whether the truck driver would get out of his truck and manually throw those away. I got to where I was pretty close to our house when I heard a loud bump. Actually, I'm not sure whether I heard it more or whether I felt it more, but I definitely knew that I either hit or ran over something. My first thought was that I ran into one of those trash bins or cardboard boxes. But when I looked into the rearview mirror, I saw a cat writhing for about 2 seconds and then lying still in the road. After my initial shock of, "Oh my God, I just killed a cat," I remember thinking, should I go back and run over it again? The reason that came to mind is because I had told myself many times before that if I ever hit an animal with my car, I would have to go back and run over it again to make sure that it was really dead and not suffering. But I didn't do it, and actually I don't really think I could have done it. My excuse was that it already looked pretty dead when I saw it in the mirror. My next thought was, what now? These thoughts of, oh my God, do I go back and what now, all came almost simultaneously. But coming up with the answer of what should I do next took much longer. First of all, I assumed that no one saw what happened. It was the middle of the day, and all the children except for the really little ones were at school. The neighborhood was quiet, and I didn't see any person around. The cat also didn't make any noise other than the bump. So I could probably get away with it. On the other hand, the cat I hit belonged to the family of our youngest daughter, Nicole's best friend, Hannah. Her family had 2 cats, a black and a white one, the one that I hit, and an orange one. And although I was not really fond of cats, I knew those cats pretty well, so I felt a personal obligation and responsibility to Hannah and her family to tell them what happened. It seems that this decision, whether to tell or not to tell, should have been a no-brainer, but at the time I couldn't make it, and I decided instead to go walk our dog. I remember thinking getting some fresh air and pausing a bit was a good idea. I was hoping that by the time I got back home, I could make a decision. I walked around the long block because the short block would have meant walking by the dead cat. I was too much of a wimp to go see it, but I remember telling myself that I shouldn't go that way because of our dog, Sushi, who would undoubtedly take an interest in the new roadkill. As expected, while I walked, I did come to the conclusion that I needed to tell them what happened. Not only was it the right thing to do, but if I didn't tell anyone, I had to live with this secret, and I knew that I'd be miserable. I probably couldn't even do it. So I called Richard, Hannah's dad, who stayed home with their young son, and told him that I think I ran over his cat. It took him a while to find it because it wasn't right across from his driveway. But I remember him walking down the street while still talking to me on the phone, and eventually he said, "Oh yeah, it's our cat. It's dead and the eyes are bulging out." My response was something like this: "Crap, I am so sorry. What would you like me to do now?" We decided that I'd go over, watch Nathaniel, their son, while Richard buried the cat in their backyard. We also thought it would be best that after the girls got home from school, we tell them that the cat got hit by a car and died, but that we wouldn't tell them that I was the one that killed it. I could live with that. I don't remember if it was devastating to Hannah or the rest of the family that they had lost a cat. What I do remember is that the girls came up with a theory. They said that there is this crazy old lady who drives a white van in our neighborhood. They seem to have remembered that she had been driving down their road a few times over the past few days, and she must have been the one that had killed their cat. I felt bad for the lady, but didn't say anything at the time. Months or years passed. I don't really remember. At some point, I told my best friend Lauren about my secret. We had a good laugh. Not so much because a cat was dead, but because of the secret that Richard and I had been willing and able to keep from the children for so long. A long while after that, the two of us were in the car with Jasmine, my oldest daughter, who was probably in her late teens at that point. I was backing up in our driveway and must have run over a stick because we felt a small bump. Lauren turned to me and while cracking up said, "It was a cat, it was a cat." Jasmine looked at us as if we were nuts. Lauren, who then realized that I hadn't even told Jasmine yet, lost it completely, and the two of us had one of those hysterical laughs where you can't stop and you start crying. Needless to say, we told Jasmine the whole story at that point. To this day, however, I don't know if Hannah ever found out who really killed her cat. Hannah, I am sorry.